What key is the music being played in? There was a friend of mine in college. I used to sing. We traveled some glee club. And he was the accompanist. He played piano. And he was amazing because he couldn't read music. But he could, you'd play something and he could play it just by ear. Incredible talent. And had another friend who was talented in another way. She could read any music and play it. But if you took the music away, she was kind of lost. And the two were amazed at each other. Okay. This one could play anything by reading the notes. The one who couldn't read music could play anything, but couldn't read music. And so, but he was, after college, worked with a jazz group, toured around. And he actually wrote a book, and we had a retreat on lessons from a jazz musician. And one of the principles was that there was no wrong note. Okay. That whatever was happening, you just worked with that and started to play with that. And so there was no disharmony, but it might not have been what you had thought was supposed to be happening. And the principle that works very well in the same way, but in acting. And if you've ever heard of something called improvisational comedy, there's a real fundamental rule. And it applies to Brahman life also. And the concept is yes, and. You never say no. That whatever's happening is happening. And you deal with what that is. Yes, I accept this situation. And now I'm going to do this. And so in the music, my friend was saying he played this to him and he hit the wrong note. And it was very discordant. But he was playing with someone who was so good that he said, okay, if that's the note you're going to give me, that's the note I'm going to play. And it changed the whole sound of what they wanted, but they explored new territory. And so it was new for them. And so it was alive. And so it was very engaging. And it was powerful for everybody involved because it wasn't what was expected. It was new. It was fresh. They were alive. They were current. They were making music. And in improvisational, here comes somebody and they say something wrong and you thought it was going to be this, but that's been introduced. It's live. So now what do you do? And if you want to see yourself as a musician or an actor, and Baba says you are an actor, there's no wrong. And so there's no disharmony. But it is the notes that you're getting. How do I move through this situation to make it so that the sounds that are coming, I can understand, because different ears, different ways. And if you're a musician at all, you know that there are different chords. You know that there's different cultural ears, okay? Japanese ear, Chinese ear, Indian ear, New Orleans ear, all sound totally different, but all are sounding good when your ear is attuned to that. So how do you respond to what's going on, and how can you change so that the dynamic can be moved and you can still live and add something that will be beneficial? Because to stop and say that was wrong and you're not doing it right and this is how it should be and you shouldn't do this, doesn't work for me. And so, I still don't like certain types of music. Okay, I don't listen to that. And some, to me, sounds like, they're waving a cat around their head. It's like, oh, but there are people who like it. And so it's like, okay, let me see if I can hear it. And we heard a really lovely song this morning. And I forget it might have been Amrit Vela, but a beautiful woman's voice, Indian. And I have learned to appreciate different types of harmony, music, disharmony sounds. And so a question is, why am I finding this to be disharmonious? Okay. And frankly, there are lots of situations I don't like. And I will share one of my secrets, that the brothers are happy when the sisters are happy. Okay. That when there is this vibration or energy, that something is, it affects everybody. And so that will happen. But okay, this is the situation, this is the energy, this is the feeling, and it might be unpleasant, it might be disharmonious, but what am I going to do about that? And do I add more cacophony, more sounds, or can I play a part? And can I add something that, somehow can affect that beneficially? Because there's no one right answer, right? But ultimately, and you all know, what am I going to do? How am I going to move through this? What can I add? Or maybe what can I not add? Maybe my silence is the best part, because silent part will always fit in with anybody else. Disharmony is two different things, at least usually. And so if one of those isn't sounding, you have a note. And there is no bad note.